Welcome back to Basecamp Engineering. I am Hardik, and today we are diving into a super fun topic: momentum, impulse, and collisions. Imagine you are pushing a shopping cart at the store. It's hard to get it moving, but once it's going, it's tough to stop, right? That's momentum. Or think about two toy cars crashing into each other. What happens to their speed and direction? That's where impulse and collisions come in. These ideas help us understand how things move and interact, whether it's a car on the road, a soccer ball in a game, or even a rocket in space. They are like the secret rules of motion, and we will break them down. Last time, we learned about friction, work, energy, power, and conservation laws, how forces and energy make things move or stop. Now, we will build on that to see how objects keep moving, how we can change their motion, and what happens when they crash into each other. New videos drop every Friday, so hit subscribe, turn on notifications, and let's climb together. Let's start with our first big idea: momentum. Momentum is like the push power of something that's moving. Imagine you are at the store with a shopping cart. If the cart is empty, it's easy to push and stop, right? But if it's full of groceries like cans, bags of rice, and big watermelons, it's much harder to get it moving. And once it's going, it's really hard to stop. That's because a heavier cart has more momentum, and momentum depends on two things: how heavy something is and how fast it's moving. In science, we say momentum is mass times velocity, or P is equals to mv. Mass is how heavy something is, like the weight of your cart, and velocity is how fast it's going, including the direction it's moving in. So, momentum has a direction too, just like velocity does. Let's break it down with a fun example. Picture two shopping carts. One is empty, weighing 5 kilograms, that's about the weight of a small dog, and the other is full, weighing 20 kilograms, like a big bag of dog food. You push both carts, so they are moving at 2 meters per second. That's a slow walking speed. The empty cart's momentum is equals to 10 kilograms meter per second. The full cart's momentum is equals to 40 kilogram meters per second. The full cart has more momentum because it's heavier, so it's hard to stop. Now, if you speed up the empty cart to 4 meters per second, like a fast walk, its momentum becomes 20 kilogram meters per second. See how momentum changes with speed too. Momentum tells us how much push power an object has, and it's why a big truck going fast is so hard to stop compared to a bicycle. Here is another way to think about it. Momentum is why a soccer ball keeps rolling after you kick it, or why a car keeps moving forward even after you take your foot off the gas. It's like the objects want to keep going in the same direction unless something like friction or a wall stops it. This idea is super important in engineering, like when we design car brakes to stop a heavy vehicle safely, or when we figure out how spaceships move in space where there is no friction to slow them down. Now, let's try a simple math problem to see momentum in action. Imagine a 10 kilogram toy car, like a big toy truck you might play with, moving at 3 meters per second to the right on a smooth floor. What's its momentum? First, we use the formula momentum is equals to mass times velocity. The mass is 10 kilograms and the velocity is 3 meters per second to the right. So, momentum is equals to 30 kilogram meters per second, and it's pointing to the right because that's the direction the car is moving. That's it. This number tells us how much push power the car has while it's rolling. If it were moving to the left, the momentum would be negative 30 kilograms meter per second because direction matters. Positive for right, negative for left in our problem. Let's make sure you have got this with a quick quiz. A 5 kilograms ball, like a small basketball, is rolling at 4 meters per second to the right. What's its momentum? The answer is B, 20 kilograms meters per second. Great job if you got that. Let's move on to impulse. Now that we understand momentum, let's talk about impulse. How we change an object's momentum. Remember, momentum is like the push power of something moving, and it's mass times velocity. But what if you want to slow down or speed up that moving object? That's where impulse comes in. Impulse is like a quick push or pull that changes how much push power an object has. Imagine you are kicking a soccer ball. When your foot hits the ball, it gives the ball a quick push, making it speed up and fly across the field. That quick push is impulse. Or if you catch the ball with your hands, you slow it down. That's impulse too, because you are changing its momentum by stopping it. Here is how it works. Impulse is the force you apply times the amount of time you apply it for. Or impulse is equals to force multiplied by time. We write it as J is equals to Ft and it's measured in Newton seconds. The cool thing is impulse equals the change in momentum. So if you give a big push for a short time or a small push for a long time, you can change the momentum the same amount. Let's think about catching that soccer ball again. If the ball is coming at you fast, it has a lot of momentum. When you catch it, you apply a force with your hands to slow it down to zero. If you catch it softly, by moving your hands back, you take more time. So the force is smaller. But if you stop it suddenly, the force is bigger because the time is shorter. This is why soft catches don't hurt your hands. It's the same impulse, just spread out over more time. Impulse is super important in engineering, like when we design car airbags. Airbags make a crash feel softer by slowing you down over a longer time, so the force on your body is smaller, keeping you safer. It's also why a tennis racket needs to hit a ball just right to send it flying with the perfect speed and direction. Impulse changes the ball's momentum in a split second. Let's try a simple math problem to see impulse in action. Imagine a 2 kilogram soccer ball rolling at 5 meters per second to the right. You stop it by applying a force to the left for 0.5 seconds, and the ball's final speed is 0. What force did you apply? First, find the change in momentum. Initial momentum is equals to 10 kilogram meter per second to the right. Final momentum is equals to 0. Change in momentum is equals to negative 10 kilogram meters per second. Negative because it's to the left. Impulse is equals to change in momentum. So J is equals to negative 10 Newton second. Since J is also equals to Ft, we solve for force. F is equals to negative 20 newtons. The force is 20 newtons to the left to stop the ball. Easy, right? Let's test your understanding with a quick quiz. A 3 kilogram toy car is moving at 4 meters per second to the right, and you stop it in 2 seconds by pushing to the left. What force do you apply? The answer is A, 6 Newton to the left. Awesome job. Let's move on to collisions. Alright, we have learned about momentum and impulse. So now let's talk about collisions. What happens when two things bump into each other? Imagine you are playing with two toy cars and you roll them toward each other so they crash. Bam! What happens next? Do they stop, bounce back, or stick together? That's what collisions are all about. Figuring out how objects move after they hit each other. Collisions happen all the time, like when you kick a soccer ball against a wall, or when two cars bump in a parking lot, or even when a tennis ball hits a racket. In engineering, understanding collisions helps us design safer cars, better sports equipment, and even space missions where satellites might bump into debris. There are two main types of collisions, elastic and inelastic. An elastic collision is like when two bouncy balls hit each other. They bounce apart and they keep most of their push power or momentum and their energy. Think of two rubber balls bouncing off each other. They don't stick and they keep moving. An inelastic collision is when things stick together after hitting. Like if you roll two lumps of clay toward each other and they smoosh into one big lump, they still have momentum, but some energy turns into heat or squishing energy, so they don't bounce apart. In both types, one big rule always applies. The total momentum before the collision equals the total momentum after the collision. This is called the conservation of momentum, and it's like saying the push power of the whole system stays the same, even if the objects change how they are moving. Let's picture this with a fun example. Two kids playing with bouncy balls on a smooth floor. One ball is 2 kilograms and it's rolling to the right at 3 meters per second. The other ball is 1 kilogram and it's rolling to the left at 2 meters per second. They collide and bounce apart perfectly. So it's an elastic collision. Before the collision, the first ball's momentum is equals to 6 kilogram meters per second to the right. The second ball's momentum is equals to negative 2 kilogram meters per second. Total momentum before is equals to 4 kilogram meters per second to the right. After the collision, let's say the 2 kilogram ball bounces back at negative 1 meters per second, and we need to find the 1 kilogram ball's speed. Its new momentum is equals to negative 2 kilograms meters per second. The total momentum after must still be 4 kilograms meters per second. So, the 1 kilogram ball's momentum is equals to 6 kilograms meters per second to the right. Its velocity is equals to 6 meters per second to the right. So, the 1 kilogram ball bounces to the right at 6 meters per second. Let's test your understanding with a quick quiz. Two toy cars collide and stick together. An inelastic collision. Car A is 4 kilograms, moving at 2 meters per second to the right. Car B is 2 kilograms, moving at 1 meters per second to the left. What's their speed after the collision? The answer is A, zero point 0.5 meters per second to the right. Great job. Let's see collisions in the real world next. Now that we have learned about momentum, impulse, and collisions, let's see how they work in the real world. These ideas are everywhere, like when you are playing sports, driving a car, or even watching a rocket launch. They help engineers design things that are safe, fun, and efficient. Let's start with a car crash. Imagine you are driving a car and suddenly you have to stop because there is a wall ahead. Oh oh. When the car hits the wall, it's a collision and the car's momentum drops to zero really fast. That quick change in momentum is a big impulse, and without safety features, it could be dangerous. That's where airbags come in. An airbag pops out and makes the stop slower, like catching a ball softly with your hands. It increases the time of the collision, so the force on you is smaller, keeping you safer. That's impulse at work, using force and time to change momentum gently. Another example is in sports like tennis. When you hit a tennis ball with a racket, it's a collision. The ball is moving one way and the racket gives it a quick push, an impulse that changes its momentum, sending it flying the other way. Engineers designed rackets to make this collision just right so the ball goes far and fast, but the racket doesn't break. Momentum and impulse also help in space. When a rocket docks with a space station, it's a gentle collision, and engineers use these ideas to make sure they connect safely without crashing too hard. Let's try a simple math problem about a car crash with an airbag. A 1000 kilogram car is moving at 10 meters per second and stops in zero point 0.2 seconds with an airbag. What's the average force on the car? First, find the change in momentum. Initial momentum is equals to 10,000 kilograms meter per second. Final momentum is equals to 0. change is equals to negative 10,000 kilograms meter per second. Impulse is equals to change in momentum, which is equals to negative 10,000 Newton second, which is equals to force multiplied by time. So force is equals to negative 50,000 newtons, or 50,000 newtons in the opposite direction to stop the car. That's a big force, but the airbag makes it safer by spreading it out. Let's test your understanding with a quick quiz. A 0.5 kilogram tennis ball is moving at 6 meters per second toward a racket. The racket hits it and it flies back at 4 meters per second in the opposite direction. The hit takes 0.1 seconds. What's the average force from the racket? The answer is A, 50 newtons. Nice work. Let's wrap up with some practice questions. That's a wrap on momentum, impulse, and collisions. We have had so much fun learning today. We discovered that momentum is like the push power of a moving object, mass times velocity. Impulse is how we change that push, like kicking a ball or stopping a car with an airbag. And collisions are what happens when things bump, like toy cars crashing or a tennis ball hitting a racket. You have seen how these ideas help make cars safer, sports more exciting, and even space missions possible. I hope you feel more confident about motion now, whether you are just starting out or brushing up on basics. To keep practicing, here are 10 practice questions covering momentum, impulse, and collisions. They are fun and simple, like the examples we did, so you can test what you have learned. Try them out, share your answers in the comments, and I will pin the solutions. I drop new videos every Friday, so subscribe and hit the bell to keep climbing. See you next Friday.